Hello and welcome back to the Vortex Experience. It is your host Claudia Compton, like the place in America, and I cannot wait for part 2 of today's episode. So, you're going through a breakup. Now what? Honestly, when I was going for a walk this morning, I've already recorded part 1, and if you haven't listened to it, go listen to it because you do need to know the release phase. I'm breaking this entire beast of a breakup situation you've got going on, like I did at the beginning of the year, into 3 phases: release, rebuild, and re-experience. Okay. So if you haven't listened to number 1, please go back, listen to number 1. The collective message: please book the flight. Book the flight, do the thing, say no, say yes, just action something. Okay. Because knowing that you get to do something needs to be the action of doing it. So whether you're sitting on the fence of, potentially breaking up with someone, or starting something new, or investing into a gym, or going into a different business container, starting to work with someone, saying, like, you need to create movement. I feel like the collective in listening to this, for those that don't know, I do channeled messages before we start, and it may or may not resonate, but what I'm getting is like there's an activation of execution that needs to happen within what you're listening to right now. So whatever came to your head first thing, it is your intuition being like, go do that. Okay. So I really want you to go do that. It's going to be the most empowering, important thing you do moving forward. Okay. So back into the episode. We are in the rebuild phase. So you're going through a breakup. Now what? We rebuild. You've released, you've experienced, and maybe you are currently still experiencing the release phase in the rebuild phase. But like I said, please listen to part 1 first so you can fully get under wraps of like what grief is, how to move through it. There's some tools and resources and things that have and more context as to why I'm bringing this to you, because I know a lot of people go through breakups. Like I've had a few TikToks pop off and people are like, how do I get through this? Like, how do you move past it? Phase 1 is going to be the real opener for you. Phase 2 is what we're doing to build. Okay. So the way I see this is a breakup or a relationship is like a house. Okay. And the breakup happens, whether it's mutually, not mutually, whether someone cheats or whatever it may be, right? It's happening. So boom, bulldozer comes through with the house. You've released the old house. Okay. Now we're clearing out the shit. We are clearing that clutter out and we are rebuilding from the ground up. And then in part 3, which will be the next episode under this, is our re-experience. Okay. We're going to re-experience things. So what we want to do now, this is going to be a somewhat like bit of a channel, bit of a rant, bit of a perspective shaker for you. And it's going to help you really leverage this rebuild to create a new you. Okay. So these are the things that you're going to do. You're going to look at your habits. You're going to look at what you do, where you go, who you talk to, who you don't. I want you to literally dissect your entire life because, like I said in episode 1, this may be the last time that you're ever single. And I remember my friend said that to me in 2023, she said, Claudia, why are you being so sad all the time? And I was pretty cooked back then. Like I was not okay. And it got to about 3 or 4 months and I was just not doing well. Like I was working, every single day, 12 hours a day, and I was not happy. My business was growing, but I was not fulfilled. Okay. And she said, Claudia, why don't you go out and experience life? And I remember having that moment of like, I don't want to experience life without my person, or I don't want to experience life by myself. If you're feeling that, please know that I've experienced that before, but you're then still living in the past of not having something that you desire rather than being conscious and present so then you can create something that you do desire to have, like a relationship, like experiencing life. Okay. So I really, really want you to get I think my podcast is like, my camera is like dropping. How funny. I'm just fixing it up. It's like slowly declining and I'm like watching it fall. It's still doing it. Lol. Anyways, we're rebuilding this tripod, girl. So with that, hang on, one momento. It's still doing it. Oh my God, this is so funny. One moment. The people that are watching the YouTube will be able to see this. How funny. And no, I'm not going to restart it because I don't want to. Done. Let's go. So that's what we're doing, okay? We are rebuilding, just like I rebuilt my entire podcast tripod just then, pretty much. Camera tripod. What did I say? I have no idea. Oh my gosh. My brain needs to go through a rebuild doll. So what we want to do is we want to leverage this experience, okay? You know the theme that you see people talk about on social media? Oh, so like for the plot, go out. And I used to use the whole for the plot in like not like a negative sense, because nothing is bad. Like it wasn't benefiting me. It was benefiting me to a level, but it wasn't aligning with the goals that I desire. So for example, I used to go for the plot all the time. I used to go on benders. I used to do all of that kind of stuff, one night stand, like whatever it may be. I was doing a lot of that stuff. And I would do that for the plot. Now, I want you to really look at this rebuild phase in your life, right? In this one moment in your life right now as the plot. This is where the character brings out the good stuff. This is where you reach for your popcorn and your eyes are glued on your own movie. Like if you were to be in your own movie and this was a plot right now, you're the main character in this. You get to rebuild the entire storyline. You have just been gifted a fresh new perspective, a fresh new canvas with no paint on it, completely clear. How do you want to be? How do you want to show up? How do you want to draw? How do you want to accentuate yourself? Like how do you want to leverage this experience? Now, I know you might be saying, Claudia, I'm going through a breakup. I'm not even thinking about anything else right now. Okay, great. That's fine. But I want you to know this. I want you to know that at any moment, in any time, regardless of the circumstances, situations, you don't need forgiveness. You get to give it to yourself and you can rebuild yourself from that moment on. You can absolutely do whatever you desire in each moment, every time, always, okay? Because we have to rebuild ourselves. But specifically in the breakup, you really get to use this as a rebuild. Now, please just be aware if there's any kind of revenge tendencies. I see a lot of people, and myself included in the past, I would be like, oh my God, I'm going to be a hot, fit, rich ex. That was such a thing that I did in the past, right? But the thing that I didn't know and only hit me until this breakup was that if I constantly did things only to prove my worth externally, one, I was never going to intrinsically experience my own worth, but two, I would keep replaying the fact that the old emotions of, see, you know, oh yeah, fuck that guy, you know, kind of vibe. But it brings that reality back into your experience, and then you're going through the 5 stages of grief again. So for example, when I had a breakup a few years ago, I did the whole, you know, I'm going over to Bali and I'm going to get really fit and da-da-da. And like, don't get me wrong, like that was beneficial. I'm so grateful I got to travel. I'm so grateful I got my health on track. I'm so grateful I learned all these things. But I didn't do it from a place of loving myself first and experiencing it. I did it because I wanted to be the hotter ex. I did it to be, fuck you. Like I literally used that. I'm like, well, fine, go on. Do what you need to do. I'm going to be the hot rich ex. Don't worry about it. It was from a revenge hurt space. And if you're there right now, it's okay. I've been there too. And I know a lot of people have. And to be honest, I think it's a rite of passage to actually experience that, to know that you don't want to have that. Because I experienced so much revenge in the past, like that was my go-to. It was a protection mechanism, really. I didn't want to feel how hurt I felt. So I used that and flipped it to anger and then got myself to move, to achieve things, to be successful, to look better, to grow more, to really put myself into work. And it did support me for a point in time, but it doesn't have to be the only way that you grow. If you are currently in that, you know, anger stage, in the 5 stages of grief, there might be a bit of revenge that comes up. Please just ensure that you're coming from an emotionally grounded, and I say that loose term because obviously if you're feeling anger, there's a lot of emotion there. But what I want you to look at is like, will you regret this in a week from now? Will you regret this 2 years from now? Will you regret this 5 years from now? You need to have a longer term vision on your actions, because all actions do have consequences, not in a bad sense and not in a good sense. You just get a byproduct of the action or inaction that you don't do. So I knew that coming from a space of loving myself on a deep level, for showing up to the gym, for growing my business, for becoming banked as fuck, because all of these things are going to benefit me long term, right? But I didn't do it out of revenge. And I can tell you what, I believe that's why I felt so much better through the relationship, and why I believe I've gotten to acceptance way quicker because I was not trying to prove myself for people to be giving me validation externally, because I was intrinsically giving myself validation first. I didn't have to worry about the revenge. And I don't need revenge. I don't need it. Like, my revenge is that I'm me. I don't, it doesn't make sense to me anymore, because I went through so much of that in the past where I'm like, oh, he's going to miss me, da 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 da. Like, I needed to go through that to get to here. And if you're in the, oh, he's going to miss me, da da da, yeah, he probably will, right? Or maybe not. You don't know. But the thing that I really want you to get is, if you come from a space of revenge, you are constantly going to be cycling through all of these emotions. It's going to drain you. It's going to defocus you. It's going to derail you. It's not going to make you have a clear purpose and a clear vision for you doing things for you. Because 6 months from now, yeah, you'll probably somewhat accept the relationship ending. A year from now, you'll probably feel really good. Are you always going to leverage revenge? Like, no, it's not a long-term sustainable system. It's not a long-term sustainable mindset to have. Yeah, somewhat it can give you instant gratification and, an instant dopamine to get moving. But realistically, long-term, we want to create these beautiful patterns in our mind that allows us to leverage the experience for good, not to keep us in the experience and in that cycle of, oh, well, he did me wrong, and I'm going to go and do my thing. And if you need to do that, that's fine. Do that. But I'm telling you, the experience that I recently had going through a breakup, the best thing that I did was look at it as a leveraged experience where I can grow and evolve. I did not say, oh, I'm going to grow, I'm going to level up so hard and he's going to regret it. No, I've already done that a million times in the past. Where did that get me? It's like the definition of insanity. Insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. I'm not going to think about him missing me or regretting that he broke up or anything, right? I'm going to think about me. How do I want to feel? Because if I keep thinking about all the revenge that I'm getting, oh, he's going to be thinking this. I don't even know if he's thinking that, to be honest. How do I know he's thinking, oh, shit, I miss her so much, or, oh, she's glowed up so hard. You don't know if they're regretting it. You don't know if they're missing you. You don't know. And to be honest, I don't need to know. I thought I did in the past, right? I thought I needed to know everything because I was lacking that internal certainty, that internal groundedness, that internal validation. But the way that I see this rebuild phase for you is what you actually have to do is leverage this experience for a catalyst to alchemize. And when I say alchemize, is shifting all the things that are no longer serving you and clear this clutter out. Pull everything out of your cupboards. Go through your wardrobe. Cut your hair off. I'm a big advocate for that. I love it. Change your environment. If you want to move different states, move different states. If you want to go to the other side of the world, go to the other side of the world. If you want to start your business, start your podcast, whatever it may be, this is an experience that you can leverage. It is a life-altering event. And when you allow yourself to have a life-altering event from a clean, energetically open space of loving yourself, it is going to be way more fulfilling. It's going to feel so much more satisfying. You're going to want to do it. And it's going to come from a loving space for yourself. Because I knew in the past, in 2023, I was going to the gym so then he could, this is where my brain was at, okay? I was going to the gym so I could get a fat ass and washboard abs so then he would regret breaking up with me. Or he would regret fumbling the bag. Or he would miss me and then want to reach out, even though I didn't want him. What cooked shit? What cooked shit, right? And I'm not a princess. I'm not an angel. I believe we have all different facets of ourselves. And I laugh at that but that's what I needed back then. Okay, that's what I needed. I go to the gym now because I love it. It's a ritual for me. I love moving my body. I'm not doing it to get anywhere. I'm doing it because I love it. And movement is a privilege and an honor. Like it really is being able to move your body and having that dopamine rush and to have those discipline and to build that self-trust and to meet new people. Like I'm doing it for quote unquote the right reasons. Okay. Back then I was doing it out of spite and for revenge. So then he would miss me, even though I didn't even know if he did or not. I was making it all up in my head. So what we get to look at is like, why are you doing things? I really want you to ask yourself. Leveraging this experience is one of the best things you could ever do. Like I said, it's critical and a moment that you can completely capitalize on. People have made videos, books, podcasts, like do what you need to do what you need to do. I'm not saying like start only like a TikTok with just breakup content. I'm not saying that. But people have. It's completely transformed their life. What's on your heart this breakup? How can you have a better experience for you internally? How can you have a more amazing experience for you? How? I want to know. Because when you start to action, you start to tangibly create a beautiful picture, which then helps you move that energy that's still there. Potentially, the grief is still there. Maybe you're still feeling a little bit anxious, but you need to learn what you love doing. That is the one thing you need to find out. What did your inner child love doing? What did you love doing with your former partner? What do you love doing with your friends? Maybe you're at a space in a time where it's like you don't even know what you love doing. Great, good. You don't know what you love doing? Good, go find out. Go try it. Like I'm literally going back to Muay Thai tomorrow. Like I've done pole dancing. I have gone to so many birthdays and I put myself out there. Even when I'm nervous and I'm scared, I don't know people, I'm feeling insecure. Like, because to be honest, the main thing that I really overcome, like, and needed to overcome was me feeling insecure. I realized that I had a lot of external I got a lot of external validation from my former partner. I needed to create that with myself. So what I did was I would, show up how I would want to show up. I tangibly created how I would like to show up. So I made sure that I got dressed every day and I made sure I said loving things to myself and made sure I ate nice food because I wanted to feel great. I wanted to feel my body and I would move my body for love. Like, there was a lot of things that I did to validate my own internal experience and also like reparent myself as well. So when I say that, when I was going through this breakup, I realized that I actually was leveraging like not talking to people. I went very internal for the most part and only a close group of my friends knew, purely because like I'm not going to share it on social media instantly. And this probably is not even going to go onto my Instagram. Like it's not going to be a live thing that I broadcast and I completely share, but it will go on the podcast because like we're besties here, right? The Vortex Experience, we're besties here. Obviously on my YouTube and stuff. But I really want you to look at, okay, cool. Like, what is this happening for me? Like, why is this happening? Maybe it's a complete alteration of your life path. Maybe your partner and you were never meant to be together because you're meant to move to Paris. Maybe you were never meant to get a part of that soccer team and you're maybe meant to meet your love of life at a cult. Like, you just don't know what this is doing. So the more that you allow yourself to be open and rebuild from what you love doing, the better. Okay. How do you know what you love? Well, you try things, you go out and do new things. I have this gym thing called Class Pass where it's like I have all of these different gyms that I can go to all around the Gold Coast and also all around the world. That's very popular in Dubai, apparently. So you can pretty much sign up and then it goes on credits. It's really, really cool. I love it and I really enjoy it. So I've gone to yoga, I've done breath work, I've gone to events, I've gone to birthday parties, I've been to weddings, I've traveled interstate, I've gone on a road trip. Like, figuring out what you love is the best thing you can do for this rebuild time. Okay. I'd also say create some kind of strategy or some kind of system, like I said in part 1, where you are not on your phone. Please, for the love of God, G-O-D, please stop being on your phone as much. It is a distraction and it's a coping mechanism and it's stopping you from living life, okay? I can guarantee it. If you keep going on your phone, you're only going to perpetuate the same cycle. And that's something that I learnt very early on and I stopped very quickly, okay? What would you do with your day? How do you want to experience life? How would you like to show up? A year from now, what is this going to mean to you? Like, you showing up and doing the things that you're doing now, what is that going to support a year from you now to experience? And if you want to zoom out again, like we did in part 1, I want you to look at what is 1 year ago, 1 year forward of you, what is future you in 1 year so grateful that you did now? Like, have you started poetry? Have you started singing? Like, how can you go do something so then you can learn how to love yourself again? Because the thing is, people don't, how am I going to say this? People don't lack skills or the ability to create and change. They lack the execution and the trial and error that it takes. So really, when you think about it, there's so many books out there. There's so many podcasts out there. You are inundated with a lot of information, right? But what we need to look at is what you love doing. And what you love doing can't be replicated. What you love doing can't be found in a book. What you love doing can't be found listening to a podcast. It's what you love doing. There is jobs, there is money out there where you can live your best life where you never knew you could even have. Like, I didn't know speaking on a podcast could generate me money. Like, what the heck? I love this stuff, right? I didn't know posting about my own experiences was going to start me a business, and now I have complete flexibility and, freedom. It's wild, okay? But if I didn't have those catalyzing experiences like a breakup or like moving interstate or, like experiencing grief, this would have never happened. So I know it might be hard for you to understand and wrap your head around at this point in time for what's coming through. For like what's coming through and why this is happening. But the more that you look at why this is happening for you rather than to you, the faster you'll shift, the faster you'll be able to leverage this experience and create a new you that you're going to actually love. Because whether you like it or not, we as a collective sift through information, bits, right? In every moment, okay? And we contort and shape and move ourselves and mold ourselves to be palatable, so to be digestible to others. Okay? And unless you've done a lot of work on yourself and you're very self-aware, I would also still play devil's advocate here and still say potentially you are still diluting yourself, being around particular people. Use this as a time where you get to find out who you are outside the job title, outside the relationship, outside of your business, outside of your gym. Like, find what you love doing. Learn a new language. Go to a cafe and read a book and eat an almond croissant. Oh my God, it's the best you could do. Like, I love it. I love it. Sit in the morning sun with your cacao. Go for walks. Spend your time doing things you love. It sounds so basic and a lot of people talk about it, but are you doing it? Are you doing it? Because this is the time where you get to leverage, rebuild, and you get to grow. Who do you get to be? You've had the clarity, you've had the experience, you've released the things, you're moving through the grief, and now it's a phase of rebuilding. So ensure that you are rebuilding with intentionality, love, not from a space of revenge, lack, getting back at them, because then you're just going to keep creating this self-prophecy of suffering consistently over time, and then you're going to resent going to the gym like I did. And then I fell off the bandwagon. I didn't end up going back to the gym because I was doing it for the quote unquote wrong reasons. I wasn't doing it to intrinsically feel things. I was doing it for external validation or as like a low key like F you. Like, okay, I'm going to be honest with that's where I was at, okay? So really look at this phase as a rebuild phase. It's one of the most empowering things you can ever do for your life. These are the things you can do. You learn how to alchemize a movement, and then you learn how to love life again by learning what you love to do, which will lead me on to the re-experience, which is part 3 coming next week. So if you love this episode and you have someone that's going through a breakup, make sure you send it to them. Any questions, comments, queries, come over to Instagram, ask me any questions, comment a fire emoji if you're listening to this on the YouTube episode. Fire emoji. I want to know who made it to the end. Thank you. All things are linked below, my TikTok, Instagram, and I will speak to you in the next episode around, so you're going through a breakup, now what? The re-experience part 3. Let's freaking go, babies. Yeehaw.